I also live in hell.
At least you know it. The traders of this city turned the lights back on in the 30s, after the fighting stopped. Ruins glittering in the dark like a fucking merry-go-round. It's disgusting.
He looks down at his shoes, his face parched from the sun and the wind. There's winds of pain there.
Now,
Ask him that again.
How is
And see if it lets me go back to say you need to look over. This is, yeah, you need to look. You looked over.
Nothing to look over. The triage is in, and it's black. Administer morphine. Moribund.
Thank you for clearing
He
that up.
looks at you, his face parched from the sun and the wind. There's a wince of pain in there somewhere.
How have you concealed yourself all
It
these
was
years?
hard in the Thames. I didn't have partisan training. They were searching for stragglers, those bloodhounds. Floodlights on the water at night.
there were posters, campaigns.
We communards still hoped, and they needed to snuff that hope out. The East capitulated. Martinez and Cold City were turned to dust. But Jamrock, Forburg, even Coron, and Boogie Street, of course. Those fucking kips had Marsov coursing through their veins. And others, too. Some cordons of Revachol was still fighting. There were cells. I tried to contact them. Soon they all went silent. The frequency's dead.
How'd you get between here and the
At
mainland?
night, I used a dinghy. I only went after dark then. When I got to the city, I stayed underground. Patrols, you lot. The commons, too. They'd started snitching.
He nods towards the deflated tire and the
In the
reeds.
city, you move underground?
From bunker to bunker. Not anymore. No one cares now. I don't even have to hide. They think I'm another antisocial vagrant. I could walk straight into that town if I wanted. I just...
He falls silent, his gaze fixed on the shacks held together across the water. Why don't you just walk
I
there?
don't want to. They're all traitors. Pigs, rabbits, and dogs. Men without ideals are only animals.
That's actually pretty true. The weapons cache under St. Ghislaine 22B point to it in the basement. Have you been there?
So you finally found it. There must have been a small squadron's worth of arms in there.
Huh.
Elmer Graves, right?
He looks at you, then pulls the raincoat tight around his neck. They were.
Useless now. Rusted away.
So you've been there.
Sleeping.
Huh.
Some nights. Ammo scrounging on others. Those McGraves were shit, even before they corroded. Some had bullets in the chamber, however.
You feel the dots connecting. Little dots on the map he's walked across.
There's a small bunker under the Fell building. You stay
The
there.
propaganda bunker. I used to, but not anymore.
Propaganda bunker?
They stored leaflets there. Broadcasting equipment, too. Made broadcasts, I think. Propaganda officers. I buried them with their leaflets. They killed
Oh,
themselves.
jeez.
2 young boys.
Killed
A
themselves?
lot of our boys did. I spent some winters there. Never liked it. Kept thinking of them. No need to go underground anymore. It's better in the ruins, on the ground.
He stares at the ruins of the Fell building. One more question. Do you smoke Tia Mortiri? I believe that is.
I
Cigarettes?
do.
Cops. Ever smoked them on the
Damn
mainland?
good. Plenty of tar. I like that boy on the pack, too. Reminds me of the last century.
Tell me another
An old
thing.
man looks inland at the city, the ruins, the motorways rising above it, the new bâtiment twinkling in the evening sky.
You said this is your termless
You're
surrender?
with the RCM, the coalition-appointed mob that enforces bourgeois morals in Revachol.
With the RCM, let's leave it at that. I know what it looks like, but I have secret plans to turn the RCM into a Mazovian revolutionary unit. We enforce the law, we keep these animals from killing each other. That's right, we're with the good guys. We're not the coalition appointment, we just try to help people.
You're the RCM. You represent the Moralist International, the enemies of humanity who took this city. I represent their adversary, Le Parti Communiste d'Ancelonde. Take me to them as a prisoner of war. I have relinquished my weapon. I can no longer serve. No superiors can relieve me of my duty. You bulldoze them all to a mass grave for trying to free humanity.
His hand shakes and he breaks into a coughing
A
fit.
spray of blood from his mouth on the black charcoal in the fire pit. Rene, the royalist on the coast, said,
The communards signed the Revacholian instrument of surrender.
Liberal reactionaries signed that instrument. Traitors who should have been burned alive. I answer to the Communist Party.
Is that part of why you've been here all this time? Because the party didn't surrender?
he just wipes the blood from his chin.
That's honorable.
Honor is a feudal atavism. My motive is class.
Okay, this guy's pretty rad, actually. Okay, so you're a communist soldier from the Communist Army.
No, I am not a soldier. I am an ideological officer. I belong to the party, not the army.
You said you were trained and assigned to the defense force.
Trained in historical materialism, then assigned
Huh.
as a political commissar by the party. These things used to mean something.
Wait, what does a political commissar
The
do?
old man does not answer. He tilts his silver head and looks at the reeds. You see a small tremor pass through his legs.
His job was to assure the army answers to civilian control and follows the ideology of the commune.
The lieutenant says softly.
Scientific communism. A commissaire politique is a night philosopher of the revolution, a future human.
The tracksuit clad old man is suddenly
Awakened
reanimated.
from shutdown by the promise of ideology, he was like a cleric, a shepherd.
So you were like a priest?
No, the opposite of that. A future human, not a human.
Interesting. That means you're a trained communist,
He
right?
nods slowly. Then another tremor.
Hello, though. Not really into politics myself.
You're inert lumpen with a gun.
Detective, we have not come here to discuss ideology.
He turns to
We
the old
have come
man.
to ask questions regarding a murder investigation.
The old man spits into the fire pit. He does not say anything more. A jitter passes his lower body. There's definitely something off with his body. Something more than just metabolism or even cancer.
I have another serious question
There's
for you.
nothing serious in this world. It's a farce.
What have you been using this gun
I've
for?
used it for killing people.
Oh, shit.
Here we go. A trail of blood. The lieutenant smells it too.
Killing people?
It's a gun. That's what they're for. You want a moralist euphemism? Defending your family and your property. I haven't done that. I've used it to kill people.
Interesting. During or after the war?
Lieutenant nods.
There is no after the war. Class war is never over.
He shakes his head and smiles, his teeth rotten black, and then says one of the most base things ever.
So he's continued killing after hostilities ended. Okay. Okay. This is it. You can feel it, like battery acid on the tip of your tongue. Something you haven't felt in a while. But
But what?
this is what you live for. This is the shit. The great serotonin jackpot. The solution.
Huh.
Go in straight. No euphemisms. He doesn't like those. No, no. Be careful now. Slow and steady does it. Don't mess this up. Remember, he wants to tell you. Get personal.
So you're saying you kill people after their active fighting stopped? Did you use that gun to shoot and kill the colonel of the security contractor, Canal? I know you want to tell me. Have you killed people with that gun in the last week or two? Wait, so which one do I say then?
Nothing comes to you. Silence.
Oh,
His
no.
black eyes look at you, and in them a chill, like
Whoa.
electricity running up your spine, crawling into your skull.
What?
All is not as it seems.
I'm almost glad I didn't pick anything.
Detective,
I know you want to tell me. Have you killed anyone with that gun in the last week or two?
I don't want to tell you anything, you grotesque murderer.
And why did you think that was a good idea? Don't listen to me. I'm wrong all the time.
Thank you, suggestion.
What did I just say?
He keeps shaking his head erratically suddenly. He brushes something out of his eye.
What did I just tell you? Don't drop the ball now.
Okay, well,
Who now?
he leans in and cups his
He
ear.
heard you. He just wants to hear you say it. You're in.
You know who I mean. A beautiful, strong man sent here by the Honorable Private Military Company Cornell. His name was Ellis Courtenay. He was part of a security detail here in Martinez. Fascist death squad who took a bullet in the mouth on the night of March the 4th. Corpse in ceramic armor hanging by the whirling in rags. Did you shoot him?
Oh, yes. That one. Ugly piece of work, that boy.
Did you kill him?
I am a son of a welder and an officer of the Commune of Revachol. I do not collaborate with murderers and pederasts of the liberal regime.
A drop of blood in the saliva. Tear into him. Pile it on him. Everything you got on him. The more, the better. The scent of blood in the air. But what else? There was something you can't remember. Something about the tracks. Suddenly, all those tracks are so confusing. Go with something else first.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, let's back off for a moment. Tell me this. Come on, what am I forgetting? You're a communist. I talked to the dead man. He told me communists did admit. Let's not say that. We did
I
ballistics.
saw you poking around there, looking for evidence. You're damn diligent when it comes to dead fascists. Did you like the view?
You
Yeah.
had direct visibility. They are embrasures in the concrete, specifically meant for a top follower to use. And you had a long-range rifle in your possession. You've been here a long time, Mr. Dress. Too long. You clearly need medical aid.
I'm ready to die. I've done my part.
He's practically admitting to it. Dead fascists for fascists.
Yeah.
Done his part. Just one thing remains unclear. The rifle does not seem to have a scope.
Where'd you make? Yeah.
Forget about your stupid fucking scope. I don't know where it is. Find it yourself. It's your problem now.
He lost it. He just doesn't know where it is. Forget it. Push on.
It's the best uninterrupted line of sight into that window in all of Martinez.
Because it's a sniper's nest, you stupid fuck.
Heh.
Radio Gosh is right. You have worms in your brain.
Another sudden twitch, and then one more in his right eye. What am I forgetting?
Wait, here it comes. The goddamn Maybells.
Oh,
The
yeah,
dried
thank you.
Maybells on Clausia's roof.
Oh,
There
yeah.
were Maybells in the grass when you got here. They're revolutionary symbols from the war. Nowhere else, nowhere in all of Martinez have you seen them this spring. Wait, don't forget the footprints. The
Did I hit myself
diagonal
again?
prints in the dust in the secret space behind Clausia's bedroom.
Uh,
Now they're gonna come up.
thank
You
you.
got it. Remember, the boot prints were like no modern soul. Maybe don't beat yourself anymore, though. You're not immortal.
There were Maybells behind the victim's window.
Damn Maybells. The whole island is turning white with them.
He looks at the blossoming field behind you.
So many this year, too. The spring is coming. No, it's already here. Wash the filth away.
I haven't seen these flowers anywhere else in
They
Martinez.
blossom on the islets before. We fertilized them with our blood. Resurrection was snow white in May before they ruined it.
Looks to the water.
South, the Bay of Martinez is dotted with little freckles of islets, turning green, with white flowers in white snow.
The coast, too, before they piled their containers on top of it, filled with broken, useless trash for fat-fingered bourgeois children to play with.
You must get around a lot to stay undetected all these years. Do you know any secret paths? Pinball workshops?
I may.
Curious tremor passes his face. A young woman named Claude. Ring any bells? These dried flowers behind her window.
Classier.
Clausier. You know her, right? She had intimate relations with the victim, the mercenary.
With the victim.
He turns his sight from the whitening field of flowers and falls silent. Falls silent, then the muscles in his jaw twitch a spasm.
There is a small tremble. Looks like a smile. A crooked smile. Yet isn't quite voluntary. He's about to burst.
I wonder what brand of boots you're wearing.
Everything is brands with you
Huh.
individualists. Who cares what brand my shoes are? Sansa. Some shit.
Looks at his running shoes covered in
Show me
blood.
the souls, please, Mr. Doras.
Fucking imbecile.
The old man stretches out his legs. A black and white spiral pattern covers the sole of the worn-out running shoes on his
The
feet.
maker is Sensorique. The model is Cordobe, and the size is 43. These are not the unusual horizontal pattern soles you saw in the dust on the floor of the hidden room. They do, however, seem to be about the same size.
The size fits, but not the soul.
Lieutenant looks to the same conclusion. Wait, maybe it's simpler than that.
Sire, he
Sick.
doesn't have to be wearing them right now.
People change shoes. It doesn't mean you were there. Near the room the victim died in, sneaking around.
Racking those brains, are you? Desperate to report something back to your masters? They must have really loved that dead fuck.
He squints at you, black pearls gleaming with
The
hatred.
lieutenant gives you a quick sideways glance and nods to acknowledge. The prints were his. You can see it in those eyes. He can't keep them from flickering, looking for something. The old man stares at his own prints in the ash around the fire. Silent suddenly, some strange process within him. A gush of wind. Seagulls in the distance. You've almost got him. Just a last little push.
I don't need your cooperations. I have this.
Not a lot of guns around that use military-grade ammunition, are there?
It's a real gun. Not like your little musketeer pistol. I've seen you prance around with that. Jumping hoops for the liberals. You look like imbeciles. Why don't you ask them to give you real weapons? Going against automatic rifles with these toy guns. Of course you got those boys killed.
Damn, he saw you. He's watched it happen. He would have a good view of the tribunal from here. It's not just empty boasting. So he saw you. Okay. So what? Don't let it divert you.
We saved a lot of them, their leader. We handled that
You
situation.
didn't handle anything.
I
I
tried.
watched it happen. You let those murderers rip right into them. Got most of them killed. Even the fat one. None of those people mean anything to you. The vultures feed on this city, and you prepare the meal for them.
You're getting diverted. Push the gun. Only the gun matters.
So you watched the fight. Did you like what you saw? The mayhem. It was all your doing, your plan. You got them killed.
You don't know anything.
Twitch runs across the right side of his face. He stares the lieutenant down. Stop changing the subject. We have the murder weapon.
You know what? You're right. I'm convinced this made the shot. Should we call it?
Lieutenant looks at the weapon demonstratively. Dramatically asks, "You think we have the murder weapon?"
4.46 jacketed ammunition, modified for range. We have it. This is
I'm
it.
calling it. We have the murder weapon. Lieutenant takes out his notebook and draws a single
This
line.
feels good, doesn't it? Tying things up like this. When you have the murder weapon, you have the killer.
I like using the points that we're using before we keep moving on. I'm not going to just put it in shivers as much as I'm thinking about it. Do I want to do authority or empathy? No, those are so low as it is. Kind of like, okay, perception's really high. Yeah, I kind of want to do composure.
Murder.
The old man does not say more. He just glances into the reeds and then twitches once more.
Like a marionette on some invisible string.
You know who he was. A coalition-trained murderer. Armored and armed. He wasn't human. The blunt end of a hammer. Dripping with blood.
He was a rapist. I'm not saying he didn't deserve it.
Beating us to the ground. Moaning with joy. You hounds get so thorough when a company-trained killer dies. I haven't seen you on this coast for 40 years. You know, maybe I should have killed one sooner. Got your attention. Now you stop beating druggies and prostitutes in your basement. Now you come to investigate. Not when they die by the hundreds.
This is it. Shot him. Shot him. Say shot him, not killed him.
So you shot him?
Oh, the inhumanity.
Thank you, rhetoric.
One paramilitary less in Revachol.
You can almost see him squeeze a tear out of his eye. His fists begin to tremble from
The
the anger.
lieutenant raises his right arm to hush you, while the lieutenant listens, holding his breath.
Hold your breath.
I had them in my sights. Both of them. Him and the whore. I was breathing with them, in phase, and I pulled the trigger and flew on the air until I landed in his mouth.
He begins to smile.
I didn't think I had a shot like that in me anymore. I did. I saw him kneel there with his mouth full of death and that stupid look on his face. And his dick still in her.
Smile
There,
quivers.
a hot flash of rage almost carries the smile away. Some dark peace.
Then what?
Nothing. I went to sleep. Next morning, there were Maybells everywhere. The world was white, or what's left of it anyway. My last spring here. I knew the fascists would come to avenge their own. And so they did.
Mr. Dross, are you aware you're confessing to murder?
Lieutenant asks after the second of silence.
Yes.
It's all a single word
And
is
you
all
are
he
looking
gives.
at them, the victim and a young woman, having sex through the scope of your rifle that night before you shot him?
Lieutenant takes out his notebook slowly, very slowly.
The old man nods.
Why?
Because that's what they were doing.
He shrugs and then smacks his lips.
The motive. This is where the motive is going to come from.
I don't understand. Do you, detective? I don't understand this part.
Why were you looking at him that
I'm
night?
always looking.
Cocks his head to the side, then turns his eyes to the city. Another tremor passes his right side, lower in intensity.
Are you always looking through the scope of a rifle? I'm just trying to understand.
A rifle scope has the best magnification.
Helps him see all the shit.
And if you don't like it,
And if it's part of the shit you
then
see.
you pull the trigger.
Yes. Think of it as a form of critique.
He will
Huh.
not stop now. These dialectical materialist types never do. Exploit it. You've got him going. Connect every little piece now. Wrap this up like a gift.
Okay, that's a composure check. Encyclopedia. I kind of like rhetoric being on my side right now. What specifically did you not like about what you saw the night of the murder?
Them. Fucking. I didn't like that.
He looks at the chart. What, you were jealous?
Jealousy is a reactionary concept. I didn't like the Reaver enjoying himself. Drugged out, soothed in the arms of a young woman. I wanted him to die so he could not enjoy life anymore.
For him to stop reacting to stimuli. To be broken off from the world. Cordoned into darkness.
And I wanted to see his head explode. That too. She should know better than to hold a child murderer between her thighs. I knew he'd be there for one more second, writhing. That's all it takes for the bullet to reach his head. Now that I think of it, I wasn't aiming for his mouth. I wanted his brains to spill out on her. But you can't have everything.
Good God,
The
dude.
body sweating from the drugs. Slick from cerebral hemorrhage. This man has seen past her, like you did.
How long have you been watching her?
Since she came to Martinez. I saw her sneaking in the reeds early in the morning, behind the Fell building. It was dark, still winter. She didn't have her skimpy outfit on then, just a spot in the night, moving,
Past the Fell building on the coast. What was she doing there?
hiding something in the water. She had a fag after she'd done it. I was up in the ruins there. She couldn't see me, but I could see her, smoking. She was nervous, but not scared.
Jesus.
and beautiful.
No electrochemistry. What do you think she hid there?
Her passport and tickets to Villiers. And from
You took
there
it.
to Cachet Brut.
In the free state of Seminine, hidden away at the edge of the earth, near the Pale.
This is the hidden buoy she told us about. You looked into it?
After she was gone.
Did you keep what was in it? When we found the submersible, it was empty.
No. Why would I do that? I didn't need tickets to Villiers. I put them back. If I wanted to extort someone, I'd do better.
This implies that he's thought about extorting her. Also, a little inconsistency here. He was surprised to hear her name Claudia before. Would he not have seen it on the documents?
We saw her name on the passport, but before when I said her name was Claze, you didn't seem to recognize it.
It didn't say Claudia in there.
What did it say her name was in the passport?
It was something. I don't remember. It was dark that morning. I only remember her face on the photo.
Are you sure? We checked the submersible. There was nothing there.
Why would I need that trash? I'm not going to Villiers.
A strange confusion comes over him from time to time. Some kind of aberration of the nervous system.
Moving on. Did you continue watching her after
I
this?
did. She had a face like an archipelago, with those birthmarks, and a body hard and lean and bruised all over, black and yellow. I could see she's taken a beating. I could see who she was, too. A spook, on the run. Revachal's the cloaca of capital now. All the bagmen and arms dealers end up here to do drugs and have sex like animals.
You could tell she was a spook from the documents?
She had different color hair on the photo and glasses. Forged. Some sordid bourgeois affair.
Yeah, because she was
I
an
heard about
espionage
this
agent.
kind of thing on the radio.
The bruises. You can't make that out in a scope.
And you can see her bruises through the scope of a rifle.
You can't see bruises through a scope. It's just a blur.
How does he know these minute details about her body?
It quickly comes to you.
You've been looking at it through a hole in the wall.
Oh, yes. Cutting those drugs of hers into little lines with a knife. Masturbating.
Everything in him fills with impossible longing, all at once.
Did you make that hole?
With a clip point knife.
Good for listening in, too. For hearing the moaning and the snorts.
Ever see her through a window on the roof?
Like that, too. Yes. Bending like a bow against the glass.
You've been through the secret route in the Whirling Rags. Those are your footprints. You just changed
I've
shoes.
been through all of Martinez. Every nook and cranny.
That too.
Yes, that too. The things they did in that little room. What she'd do to feel good.
Huh.
Funny the way light works. You turn it on inside, and it gets so dark out, you can't see a man looking in. I learned that in the 20s, when they were still hunting me. I've seen people do some shit, but
Keep shaking his head.
Those two took the cake. You hear the familiar scribble of the lieutenant's pen. A quick glance at you.
How did you get in there? The hidden pinball workshop.
I can just walk in there now after a good wash. I told you, they think I'm an antisocial. Closing hour is a good time. The kitchen's empty.
You had to open the steel door in the kitchen? How?
I got that open a long time ago. Some bourgeois game merchant lived there. I don't know, 15 years ago. He left spare keys all over. I took one. Then I saw her turn the light on one night in my scope.
Points towards the
Andy
whirling.
found use for it. A spare key, like the one hanging behind the Union Box window.
Did she have feelings for that woman?
There's nothing to hold on to. Only this. It's not enough.
The coals of his eyes glisten suddenly, like stones dripping with water. Is he crying?
Man needs to feel something else. It helps if you have your eye on something there. Something pretty. It's weakness, I know.
He looks to the city where the lights are. Have there been others?
Yes, over the years. It's not unproletarian. to feel something.
Was that why you left the dried flowers behind her window?
No,
He starts to shake his head again, a sunflower on a withered stalk. Why
I
then?
don't really know. I was there one night and she was crying like a child in the corner of our room on the floor, like she does sometimes.
When was
The
this?
day after I killed him.
And you brought her Maybells?
Yes. I don't know why I do the things I do anymore.
He looked at the charred
It's as if
logs.
something put the thought there to leave the flowers.
Something put a thought in you with compulsion.
What do you mean, put?
He raises his eyes, they're round and wide. I just got this feeling from what you said. Do you agree?
Maybe. I told you, I have holes in my brain now. I wouldn't just sit here waiting for you.
He lowers his head and just stares at the
A
logs.
sudden pang of rage.
If you came 10 years ago, I would have killed you.
He wipes his eyes.
The silence. The lieutenant draws a line in his notes, then nods at you once more.
So in conclusion, it wasn't about him, it was about her.
Her.
He repeats, staring at the ashes and the reeds. There's a twitch in the corner of his eye.
You hear a low frequency hiss, barely, beneath the audible spectrum. Then it's gone. The lieutenant nods at you in acknowledgement.
God, we're leveling up like so many times during this conversation. What do I want to put points in? I'm gonna actually, yeah, I want to put points in empathy.
Where is she, that Clasier?
The old man
I
looks at
haven't
you.
seen her there for days.
She got away, but she let us here first. She figured out someone was watching her from the sea fort.
Gone. I knew it. She kept staring into the scope this last week. The island. Like she knew. She'd look at night, crying or smoking on the roof, staring right into me. It doesn't matter.
He adds to no one in particular.
Midtown, across the Bay of Rivershore. The oceanic wind washes 40-story towers. Above them, Lusan's Central Aerodrome, a cocoon suspended in the sky by a web of suspension wiring, encircled by hybrid aircraft.
Look north.
On the platform, a young woman is withdrawing from amphetamines, barbiturates, and alcohol. Yet still, she smiles among the crowd, among the great ghost of the city she's leaving for another, far south, smaller, distant, hidden. Not like the great chandeliers she sees sparkle in the dusk below her. Streets, towers, tenements, and cold water. Across the water, a dark strip of ruins, barely visible. If she didn't squint her eyes, he knew she knows. She was looking at the island, figuring it out, day by day, cigarette by cigarette.
We could get more. We've got him talking.
Lieutenant uses the opportunity to tell you in a little
Who
voice.
knows what he's seen and done over the years? Enough. Take him in. Bend his arms behind his back and end this.
But you've been looking at anything else you haven't liked?
Tragic comedy. Druggies, prostitutes, and rentiers.
Oh my god, the only task left is the armor.
A strange little engine seems to fire up in him again. It straightens his back. The familiar put, put, put of hatred. Detest pushes the cobwebs out of his eyes, pushes the melancholy aside. He relishes it.
More specifically?
Specifically, the whole city is a charnel house, stripped clean and draped in neon. But Martinez is the worst.
How
Because
come?
of the racists.
Huh.
Everyone is a racist in Martinez. It's their favorite thing to do in the whole world. Listening to race-themed radio shows. In the ruins, in their lorries.
Points inland.
Full of steroids and Radio Revachon 92. Race this, race that. It's all sanctioned by that Social Democratic Union and the farce of a Social Democrat who runs it.
Mr. Clare?
Yes, the fly larva in his container. He let some nihilistic advertising yuppies erect a statue of Philippe III.
Oh, he was the one who
the
did that?
syphilitic murderer on the town square. To
Interesting.
spit on the working class.
Anything more?
Not since the serfs of ancient Pericarnassus has history produced a more inert social class than the Martinez proletariat. The rest of Revachol at least pretends to rebuild. These people still live in ruins. Intense, like animals, like those boom morons on the ice. Pity they didn't drown in that tent of theirs.
Keeps shaking his head with sorrow for the sight he missed.
The
Al?
worst of them is the blood-drenched Sucrion on her yacht,
That's fair.
licking her lips. The old whore's gone now. Her gun-toting porcelain men are dead. So, actually, no. The worst is that old cop parading around in his uniform, throwing balls all day. It's not enough that the racists and liberals are dancing on our graves. The old loyalist ghouls still parade the ruins too. Every morning he's there, while the parasites he fought to protect are off in Ozon or Quayamoran or some other island they built their palaces on, feeding on drugs and having sex with their own children.
Say nothing.
That's all the rich really want. Sex with their own children. Throughout history, even the royal bloodline of the suzerain, it's all just an excuse for them to have sordid sex. At least that old cunt Frisell is now dead.
I was just thinking he's Renee for the communists. Now, I have some questions about
We
this.
did good when we pushed him under the horse car. Until, in the 30s, those disco whores.
He breathes in, his breath heavy with hatred. You cannot make out a single word.
The disco whores are too much. Hatred shuts down his brain's language center, leaving only a nonsensical sputter. What was that about? Steroids? It piqued your interest. There was something about a statue and nihilistic advertising agency people. Might be worth investigating. Ask about that cock on parade, too. Make sure you get everything here.
Disco horse?
Horse.
Is all he says. Even that word has to be pushed through his teeth with great force. The rage seethes too hard. And the racist on the gates pumped full of steroids?
Yes, steroids. A racist on steroids.
You mean Measurehead, right? What's your opinion on
What
him?
is my opinion? You think the rich man has an opinion on this idiocy? Is the rich man on the radio telling you his opinion? No. The rich man's looking at real estate and fiddling his kids, wading through the corpses.
Ah, yes, but he was there. Why was he there if you can't have an opinion?
Then why was he there? You're right. I am too a level-headed moral person unaffected by Measurehead. I, for one, do have an opinion on Measurehead that people need to hear, and it's not positive. Did you notice that he is not... I am a level-headed moral person unaffected by Measurehead.
I find it strange that you keep bringing this up.
Ha!
You moralist types are eternally fascinated with these race topics, helping the ruling class conduct their swindle. The rich man doesn't care about complexion. He rules the world, and he laughs at your moral soliloquies.
He stares into the dead embers.
Now, wait a moment. Let's get serious here.
Let's get serious for a moment. This is the real world, and in the real world, it means something if your skin is a certain color and you say things.
I've seen the real world. In '06, the flags unfolding, young people marching, being kind to each other. They dreamt of 1,000,000 years in the stars. This here is pale in waiting.
Pale and waiting.
The end. The pale will swallow
Ooh, he's
all
right.
of this. The water, the sky, the city. Soon, there is nothing to be serious about. We're all gone.
Yeah.
Steroids and radio shows. Probably that Revachol 98 AM. That's irradiating the lumpen. It's the worst.
There was something about a statue on the roundabout and syphilis?
Syphilis is a disease Philippe III contracted in a whorehouse. The statue is an abomination.
An abomination.
The bacteria entered his brain and made him squander trillions on sparkling wine, cocainum, and monuments of himself. His son, Philip IV, the insane, contracted syphilis in the womb.
He breathes in with a wheeze of hatred.
That is technically possible, although Philippe III was not actually syphilitic. He was just mad.
And he still went on to govern Revachol for 25 years. We lost 2 million lives toppling that mode of government. And those grotesque statues, too. Hundreds of them.
But it's still
What
there.
a keen remark. Yes, it is, isn't it? It's still there. Do you know why?
Because he forgot to take it down. Because the king is holy and his statues are indestructible. Say because the king is holy and his statues are indestructible, but mean it ironically, because cynical advertising yuppies erected a deconstructed version of it.
That's right. Some advertising cockroaches erected a cynical deconstruction of it. We tore it down with honest working-class plastic explosives. And there it is again.
He shakes his head in
Art
disgust.
is a bourgeois establishment. It's an affront to humanity.
I don't agree.
Every gallery should be bulldozed, and the artists should all be
you
given
testing?
30 years of
Redeemed
hard
highlight
labor
my message?
in Yekokata.
How does that look at the chat over here? Oh, that doesn't even show up differently in the chat on my stream. That's interesting.
Wait, it suddenly strikes you. Perhaps it was not as it seemed.
Actually, it was not deconstructed so much as captured in the moment of explosion.
What are you talking about?
Ancient commentator Cox said, it's not a monument to Philippe III anymore, it's a monument to the monument of it exploding.
What is this madness?
A dim light comes on in his
The
eyes.
lieutenant, too, has cocked his head and is looking at you with a strange expression.
It's not madness, it's a monument to what you did, to your program of destatuing
So you're
Revachol.
saying it's a communist monument now?
Not only.
Yes, and furthermore, the design bureau people are probably left-wing too. They often are.
We did always have the prettiest posters.
Ah!
Maybe you're right. That is how dialectics work. But understand this, art is still a bourgeois institution,
His eyes fill with understanding.
and they all should still be sent to Yekokata.
I don't know about that. Could we not? Of course, straight to Yekokata. Typical far left treachery, repressing your own people. Yeah.
It is commonplace to relocate the workforce according to the needs of the land. All nations do it. It's called settlement.
Huh.
Browbeating from the bourgeois are fascist.
That's it for the statue. Then tell me,
The
Mr.
fat
Ross.
union man let them put it there, corrupt as he is. Probably got a fat check for it, too, shared with the law.
You mentioned the Union is social democratic, and Mr. Clare is a farce of a social democrat.
Another hideous
Social Democrat.
disappointment. Unions are the real enemy, the true enemy of the proletariat.
Some mental gymnastics.
Disappointment. So personal. He displays a familiarity with the union's top brass.
Who's a disappointment? Everett?
That deformed toad? I wouldn't expect him to wipe his own ass. I mean, the brains of the operation, the smart one.
Edgar.
You mean Edgar, Everett's brother?
He talks a big game about uprising and social base. They must have sent the smart one to some university in Le Jardin, where it's alienation this and hegemony that.
You talked to Edgar?
First against the wall with him.
He stopped poking at the ash and just shakes his
The
head.
Clares wouldn't miss a man hidden in their own backyard. Not all this time. Nothing happens in Martinez without them knowing.
Of course. Maybe the Clears asked him to.
Have you approached them?
I haven't approached anyone. I hid. It was Edgar who came to me.
How did he know you were here?
He didn't just stumble in like an oaf. He figured it out. Some kids told him about a monster on the island. I told you, he has brains.
He points to the path leading to the tower.
Stepped right off the boat and walked down where you came. I even kept the door open for him. Thought he was the man of the left. Wouldn't rat me out. I was right about one of those things.
When was
20
this?
years ago. Neither of them could walk now, could they? They were less fat then.
That's around the time the Clears came to power.
What did you talk about?
Edgar did the talking. paid his respects like I would a fossil in a uniform,
Huh.
offered platitudes about the struggle, flaunted his pink degree, even quoted Marshall. Never trust a social democrat who quotes Marzoff.
That's true.
Oh, and charity, too. They love their charity. Offered me blankets and social housing. I still have the gas cooker he brought.
And he let you be here?
Let me be here. The ZOC is an unlawful successor of the
Zed.
Commune of Revachol. We took this fortification from the Loyalists. Even the Clares understand this.
They let him be here. Understanding was a courtesy. But why such a courtesy?
Mr. Tross, did you kill the Cornell mercenary for the Clares?
You know why I killed that fucker, Dwat. As to Edgar, I'm not doing anything for that swine again.
Again? What have you done for Edgar before?
Tried teaching him some Marzovian socioeconomics. They didn't stick. We parted ways.
Okay, he didn't do the hanged man for them, but he's insinuating something. The connection comes to you like a splash of cold water. Dark, cold water.
20 years ago when you met Edgar, the Clares didn't run the Union yet, did they?
Hey,
Sputter from the old man.
He acknowledges it. Here we go. A twist behind the dark bend.
Who did?
that bourgeois cow. Tiffin Holly was her name. Licked the rich man's hand every time he came to town. Never seen a labor leader so hot on mutual cooperation and money. She liked that too. That Holly was a real bridge builder and a deal maker.
His eyes glistened suddenly with hatred.
Bordering on sentimentality, it drips out of him, tempered by something familiar to you. A familiar rage.
She was also a woman, wasn't she? Like that
She
closet.
was. And she was real soft on those money men. Had a Barbara Muscova bag over her shoulder that she liked to bring to work.
And then she just disappeared.
Called in, they say. On the eve of battle. Ran away. Vanished like a piss stain.
He squints and smiles at the black
No.
logs.
That's not quite it, is it?
Did she? They say her daughter called in, not her personally. But that wasn't really her daughter, was it?
No, I guess it was not.
You could swear you could see the embers glow again under his eyes in the dust. Edgar had to someone make the call. Why is that, Mr.
She
Dross?
couldn't make the call herself.
Here it is. The bend in the river. The truth.
Because she was dead.
Just say nothing.
The cow caught a bullet in her right lung. Fell into the canal, grasping her tit and drowned. Or bled? Hard to say. It was a sloppy job. And a moving target.
Shit,
She
man.
was going home, waddling, dressed in yellow, drunk like she often was. The ruins were black around her, and she had a yellow leather bag under her arm. She tried to cross the canal, heading home to Grand Couronne or Betancourt, someplace like that, where they build those new bâtiments for the people who flourish in the hell around her and the ruins.
You shot her.
Someone shot her. Or maybe the cow just fell. My memory is full of holes. All
I love
know
his
is
voice acting so much.
Another big spike of rage. Different from the one he has for her.
Nothing changed. Not in the material base. Not in the hegemony. There was no uprising. Just words. The Union fizzled. Sogged. Nothing came of it. Nothing.
Edgar didn't keep his part of the deal.
Sputter again, nothing
If
more.
you were to testify to this, give the RCM something on Edgar, you could work.
Lieutenant says in a voice even calmer, as if it were nothing at
We
all.
would strike everything you've done and process you as a POW. You were in a war. You were on assignment. We could even extradite you to the Samaran People's Republic.
That's really fair, actually.
A degenerate worker state. Go shit. No, thank you. I'm Revacholian. My days are short. I will rot away here, in a moral intern cell. I will not testify to anything.
Credit to him for having at least he has an integrity that he won't back
Threatened
down
with
from.
pain.
No.
All human beings respect pain. It's the truth.
But you did
I
do
saw
it.
it happen. and I liked it. That's all I have to say. I didn't live and fight for 40 years to end up as a collaborationist.
Yeah, there's
I've
no way
heard
we're
it on
convincing
Channel
him.
8, 40 a.m., Radio Revachol, late night. Everyone is a blobber in this world.
There's also no point,
Everyone
really.
betrays everyone.
Yeah.
They're all already locked up for betrayal. The best ones, the ones with heart, were slaughtered, trampled.
It's also one of those things where, like, even if we were to do that, where does the road go? Because it just ends up taking down Everett and screwing over a pile of people. Not that they should kill people to get in power to begin with, but still. By the cock parading in his colorful uniform, you mean Renee?
Every fucking morning for 34 years. Throwing that ball. One ball against the other. I've always loathed that game. That is not a working
What is a working class game?
I don't care what they say on Radio June. Royalist ghouls played like it was life itself. Click, clack across the water each day. And that uniform, like a parrot's plumage.
I do love
I
the
won't
cockatoo
even
uniform.
mention that he's a traitor to his race.
I thought you didn't care about
Tank
race.
Maniac, race traitor.
Just
I
not.
remember him. I remember him from Lanos. Not him personally, his make and model.
Huh.
There were tens of thousands of them. I thought we took them all out before the liberals came to their rescue. We missed one, that one.
With his shaky finger, he points to the city towards the crater near the plaza where the lonely pine tree
There doesn't
stands.
seem to be a single person under the pine today. Not even Gaston. Alone.
There's no one there.
Fat and plump, like a pheasant. Just begging to be popped off.
Oh,
Please, Mr. Truss, shoot me.
a grin stretches across his face, and he says very
He
softly,
whispers with such predatory hunger. It borders on longing.
"You'd like to kill him?"
Not yet. I like to look at him strut around, place the crosshair on his medals, right on his face, and just fiddle the
That's
trigger.
not okay, bro.
Think about it. Let the bomb melt in my mouth.
A treat. Better served for later. He's a pleasure delayer.
Nod.
He is a juicy bonbon, that one. A real treat for the black day. The blackest. When I put that gun in my own mouth, I think, no, don't waste it. Put this lead in that cock, Renee. For the boys he killed. And then I look at him throw those balls, and I suddenly feel
That's at a wistful sigh.
better. I even hid one bullet, so I'd always have one for him. Haven't seen him around lately, strutting around. Must be down with arthritis. I hope it hurts like hell. I hope he sweats blood.
Anyway, tell me something else, Mr. Dross. Bad arthritis. Yes, he's not playing this. No, he's dead. He died a couple days ago. Take that away from you. Yes.
I waited too long. I waited too long, and now he's dead.
The old commonard looks at you, his blackberry eyes shaking in disbelief.
I'm sorry, Mr. Dross. I understand you knew him for a long time.
They're all dead now. Fuck it.
Just shakes
If
his
he
head.
really wanted to kill him so bad, he would have done. There
Yeah.
must have been 1,000 black days on these islands. His health ailing.
You cared about
All
him?
human beings care about each other.
Yeah.
I cared for
Oh.
seeing his head explode. Now, God damn this world.
I'm sorry?
Fuck you.
The old commonard says at the ground, seemingly on the stares at the ground, seemingly to the island you're on. You had 1,000 chances to kill
And
him.
I blew them all. What does it matter now? He's gone. Ancient dust.
Are you okay, Mr. Dross? To go
You
on?
think I haven't seen people die? It's all I've seen them do. Fuck and die. All the
Yeah.
other plans we had. To love. To colonize the Pale. It's all fucked.
Okay, we have more experience points yet again. Okay, I just want to keep using these as we go through this. Encyclopedia? No, not visual, not drama. You know what? Actually, yeah, I'm fine with authority.
He's not okay. This is just another black day in a row of black days. Something strange is keeping him together, making
Huh.
him endure an idea told to him by grown-ups from radio towers and leaflets in beautiful print when he was still a teenager. Everything is possible if we fight. And then he lost it. So did they all.
I'm glad we talked about this
Glad
now.
we talked about what?
Yeah, body language.
What strikes you about this gaunt man is not the stomach pain, or the cough, or the malnutrition. For a man who spent 44 years hidden in the urban wild,
He is surprisingly okay.
indeed, he speaks fluidly. His movements are rapid, if erratic. His voice, despite the cough, is there. It is capable of expressing complicated ideas. Above all, he seems animated.
Animated by what?
It's a mystery. This animation comes at a cost too. Erratic hand gestures, thought processes cut off like threads as he just stares at the logs or the reeds. He also suffers mood swings, bubbling to the surface, unconstrained by his nervous system, and also flashes of lust simmering in there. Not too common in people his age.
The lust, wouldn't his glands have stopped for it by now? Dementia?
You've seen demented people before. This feels similar, yet different. When his thoughts move, they are lucid, keen even, not senile. Is this some kind of substance damage? Like he's addicted to something? Not only the painkillers he's clearly on. There is definitely
I wonder what the
something
glands.
hormonal there. Whatever the condition he's suffering, there is a sexual element to it.
Interesting. Are you on some kind of psychoactive substance?
No. I won't be stuffed full of shit like the rest of this city.
Snaps out of staring
You
through
said you
you.
take painkillers.
Follows your
I
lead.
take them to cope with pain. The people of this city use painkillers because they have pain.
Yeah.
Untreated illnesses. Not enough money for a greedy doctor.
He is indeed very lucid at times.
Yeah.
It's not a downer, rather an upper, judging by his snaps.
What about pyralidium?
I don't know what that is.
Shakes his head. Are you on
Like
amphetamines?
some kind of decadent rock star.
Doesn't dignify it with more of an answer. Are you okay?
No,
How's your
I'm
memory?
not okay. I shit blood, and I'm surrounded by insane people.
Waves his hand, chasing something that's not
There
there.
it is again. Erratic hand motions, bouts of rage, and the stomach thing too, of course. Could it be a symptom of overdosing on something? Something even you have not tried? Keep your eyes peeled.
I want to ask you again
His
about
lip
people don't like.
curls
Oh,
into
not what I meant to.
Glad we talked about
Yeah,
what?
here arrests Joseph.
What? But you said I would be taken to the...
The old man's eyes fill with sudden, unexpected terror.
The wind picks up. The silence on the water is broken all around you.
Oh, he starts
Little
like
shivers
fetal
of waves
positioning.
appear. The lieutenant continues, like an incantation.
Your Wayfarer rights have been suspended. Information provided to the officers on the scene will be used against you by the prosecution. You will be given legal counsel within 1 week and must face court in 44 days. Do you understand?
Shit.
Do you understand?
But
Do you understand, sir?
no, I don't want to. I have to stay here.
He looks at the reeds, eyes submerged in growing terror. Also, what is... Oh, right.
He's sweating. Beads are forming on his forehead. Pupils are dilated too. Eyes getting blacker and blacker.
Your confirmation is not required, sir. Now on to the boat.
Wait.
There it is again, to your north, as it has been since you came to the coast. The reeds whisper, stalks rubbing against each other. But then, in the middle of it,
What?
something completely different. It sounds like a bow, very slowly being drawn against the strings of a violin. A very small violin, made of reeds and rushes.
Maybe there is room for 3 on the boat.
Do you hear that?
What?
What are you talking about? Is
The old
this
man's... The old,
really us?
the old man's voice drowns in a sudden gust of
Your
wind.
skin crawls.
Oh, that's so cool.